exists in Lisboa and it exists in San Francisco. So on September 1, I led with Pedro Pinto, who's the Consulado Geral in San Francisco, the ambassador there, and a colleague, Torben. We led Why Californians Love Portugal. And it was the biggest event we've ever had at this huge entrepreneurs club there. We had 200 people. And there's just tremendous interest in California entrepreneurs and startups and people doing projects. In fact, I met a few doing projects, in the land and in development. And 20 days later, I was able to, with some help with a wonderful lady, Natasha Nizar, at Shack 15, we brought the president of Portugal to Shack 15. Okay, there was a state dinner for 60 people. Yeah. And so we're doing something different. Yeah. We're really connecting these two countries. California's a country. We're connecting them. And there are people like Nathan already here doing great things, but there are a lot of people coming. And then there are other people going the other way. I'm helping Natapura, which is trying to take Pastel de Nata global. Okay. And I had them there in San Francisco. I helped another firm, Fortrevo, and they work with OutSystems. And this is a new thing. In other words, it's not just Portuguese people coming to California and meeting other Portuguese people. They're really integrating with San Francisco, which is so international. Yeah. So at Shack 15, all my friends are not American. They're from Asia, Dubai, Europe. None of them are American. And so that sort of mix, in fact, one of my friends will be at our events in a couple days. And our last one I had 3 Californians. So it's this mixing, which the Portuguese have always done. They've always been great at. And we have complementary, I think, talents.
Absolutely. I had never experienced this until moving here, the eyes of an immigrant. I had never lived outside of the U.S., and I had always kind of wondered why most of the big companies in the U.S. are run by immigrants. And it's, you come to a new place and you see it differently because you grew up somewhere else. Yeah. And anytime that happens, you have an advantage in seeing opportunity where others don't. So I think that's where immigrants are bringing innovation, but it can't happen in a bubble. They absolutely need Portuguese partners because there's so much that Americans miss. I think we are more obsessed on this extractive business model. How can I monetize your eyeballs or your time versus here there's more of a focus on improving life. What's important.
And I agree, but I think I'm an optimist, and I really think that a lot of Californians, especially successful ones, they've already made quite a bit of money, and so they want to do something with purpose. And they're looking for projects that could help develop, say, an underdeveloped part of Portugal, which is a lot of the inland areas and other areas. And I myself, just as an individual, am feeling something kind of strange. You ask about something quirky, like this is my 4th trip of like almost a month here since April, and I'm going back and forth. And I think I'm learning something. I'm not sure. I always know if I'm in San Francisco or Lisboa. But there's something I'm learning about being in both places and maybe seeing what each place needs a little more of and how we can connect them more.
That's a very interesting topic that we are exploring here because I'm myself an immigrant and I'm not a big fan of the word expat because I still have a patria, but I am an immigrant proudly, and I've always seen how I lived in England before, then I moved to Portugal, how entrepreneurial immigrants are, and obviously the base when you don't have much money will be let's make food from our land and let's get these people to taste it. And what I really love about going to a place that I find people of different nationalities is the abundance of different styles of food.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Portuguese food. I really like all the pastries and all the abundance of seafood, but I'm enjoying trying all the different, nationalities that expose their food here.
At our next party, we often have Angolan delicacies, and we will, as well as comida portuguesa. But I think you mentioned this word expat. I also don't like the word, and I think we're trying to create something very different than an expat. I mean, we want it to be a sort of impact. We want
impact.
We want. You may be from California, you may be from London, or you might be from South Africa, but we're hoping you can connect on an authentic level with Portuguese or Brazilians, right? Or other locals here.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the meetings of Redbridge. I'm very curious. What do you talk about when you meet? What has been the topics of your meetings?
Well, we had a very exciting one just a few weeks ago. So I have this history of giving talks, which I did a lot with the Portuguese actually, and so I usually talk with a mini palestra, we'd say, a mini talk.
Yeah.
But we have a conversation, and actually Nathan will be a guest at one of our next ones, which will be on sustainability. Our last one we had João Graça, who's the CTO of Umbabel, which is basically a unicorn. We had Elaine, a famous French founder of a women's athletic, app called Wild AI, and we had Maria Sa, and we had this conversation, but we try to do things differently. So during the conversation, which is less an interview and more of a conversation that I'm guiding, we had a fashion show in the middle that was a surprise fashion show because Maria has a sustainable fashion. So we'll have a surprise at our next one. I can't tell you what it is. I can't even tell Nathan. I can't tell Nathan.
Really? Because Nathan will be speaking, so you should know.
I'm a little nervous now.
But our vision is that we have these hopefully insightful conversations. The next one is climate and sustainability, and we have Ben Joff, who's one of our best members, who heads the largest clean tech fund. He's a partner, largest SOSV. And we have Barbara Leão de Carvalho, who's a really important woman here in sustainability. So we'll have this conversation, but a lot of it is to get people talking. So our vision for the club is that it's about the members.
Okay.
We don't separate the talent, like the guest speakers and the members. And we also have a great DJ, and we have, Vino Verde, and we have Un Pequeno Palacio, a little palace that has a view of the River Tagus.
Yeah, that palace is something, it's amazing. That view of
and
Redbridge.
Fernando Pessoa was there.
Okay,
It's real,
I mentioned that before. So Fernando Pessoa lived there, or
No, he would come there sometimes.
And visit.
He did astrology. He did many things, but he did astrology. It's a known fact. We have a great room with a fresco-lined ceiling, so it has this great European, classic feel. So, it's beautiful. But our goal is really these conversations, and then the people do projects together.
Yeah. And so now from what I understood, you don't have to be Californian or Portuguese to join Redbridge, but you're open-minded. But obviously someone that, an entrepreneur or a startup owner, or what is it? Are you looking to get more members? How do you expand Redbridge?
Well, it's going well. And as I say, we will soon have a connection with San Francisco. We sort of have an informal one. But we think the future's bright. I mean, I happened to have talked to Pedro Pinto, who's essentially the ambassador in San Francisco. And in April of this year, essentially the largest group in the world who are buying apartments here are Californians.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not Americans, it's Californians. And I think that's just part of it. I think there are a lot of people who are working here part-time or looking to buy businesses, invest in businesses. Not all startups, you know. They may be agriculture projects. They may be a software company that you might buy or become an investor. And I think they're starting to see that this is a great place to partner. And so we think that's why our metaphor is the Red Bridge, and because there's this central connection with California, and we just think it's just starting. And it's not a tourist thing, like, you know, Porto's beautiful, but the entrepreneurs really are coming here to Lisboa.
Yeah.
And it's, but once you reach a critical mass of people in an area talking, building, ideating, it starts to create momentum and pulls in more people because there's now a scene of innovation. And we're seeing this taking off right now.
And I will, you know, in 5 days I'll be in San Francisco, but I'll only be there for 15 days. And then I'll turn around here for the Web Summit. And when I'm there, like, I have friends and then new friends and colleagues. Everyone's telling me they're coming here. You know, they're exploring it. So it's something that's happening very rapidly because people have choices now. Right? You can work wherever you want. You're not going to go to Paris anymore. You're not going to go to Rome. It's too expensive to go to London. So this is one of the top, I'd say, 3 places in the world. And it has that cultural closeness, I think, with
Is this what you think it's drawing Californians to Portugal? Is that cultural closeness, the opportunity to build, you know, something, just everything that you just said?
Yeah.